Hello everyone!
Hello!
Happy Sunday!
Happy Sunday.
So, can you believe, Jamie Colvin, we have been parents to this little guy for 6 months!
6 months,
Half
baby!
a year, can't believe it. So we thought it was the perfect time to sit down and answer all of your questions about how we found it these past 6 months, everything sort of baby and parenting related.
We've had a lot of questions, and actually we threw out a little questionnaire on Instagram, so we thought we'd tackle some of them, but on top of that...
We do have a little announcement to make. Drum roll! Because of all the questions that come in to us on a daily basis on Instagram, if you don't follow us on Instagram, do give us a follow. We get so many questions about how we're finding it, tips and advice for new parents. I have decided to record some shorter videos and upload them on, not every Wednesday, but Wednesdays.
On Wednesday. So we will
Yes.
carry on doing our Sunday weekly vlogs, and then when we can, we'll slot in some other content, which is more based around babies and... Oh, that's probably it.
Kind of like, you know, best things to buy, things to not waste your money on, things nobody tells you about giving birth, all of that good stuff.
Maybe some product reviews.
Exactly.
Things that we think you will find handy.
Yes, because we are finding that there's so much to cover in our family vlogs on a Sunday. We don't want all the baby stuff to take over from the music and from sort of our day-to-day just having fun as a family of 3. So head over to our Instagram, give us a follow, because I am going to be updating everybody on my Wednesday videos over there. Okay. This little guy just wanted to say hello, but he's actually off for a nap, so we can sit down in peace and quiet and answer all of your questions.
See Rupert.
He's got a very appropriate, I don't know if you can see, baby grow on that says sleep thief. Oh, the doorbell's just
doorbell.
gone. Give us 1 second. Daddy's gone to answer the door. I wonder what it will be. Cha! What was that all about then?
Our neighbours get New Scientist, and then once they've read them, they send them on to me. And then I send them on to the next person on the street.
Lots of nerds on this road. Okay, little man. So it's very hot in this kitchen, which is why he's just in his little baby grow. Right, say goodbye to everybody.
Bye-bye.
You're off for a nap now.
Bye.
Do you understand that? It's nap time. We'll be back in 1 second. Ready? We're back!
We are back.
Without a baby. Shall we dive straight in?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you again for all of your questions. They were brilliant. Okay, so question number 1. What has been the most challenging aspect of being a new parent? Oh, for me, sleep deprivation, obviously. It's pretty brutal. You just constantly feel like a zombie. And also when you don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, I think for me, it's seeing Megan like upset, and we're like stressing out. What is wrong with him?
Those tough days are really, really tough. And obviously the baby can't tell you what's wrong. And Rupert just cried for the first 4 months of his life. And we just had no idea. And I think as new parents, you Google everything and you're just convinced that something is wrong because your child just won't stop crying. And it genuinely drives you mad.
Yeah.
Like I was really, really low, as in like mood wise, because it was just that tough.
Well, they use sleep deprivation as torture.
Yeah, it's
So,
like being in a torture
yeah.
chamber. But just on that note, it's about like sort of Googling stuff. Google isn't your friend. I feel like it always tells you like the worst things, then you over worry.
And also every single opinion is online. So one person might say one thing, another person says another. It always counteracts.
Yeah, sleep deprivation was
Contradicts.
tough. And also like not having much time as a 2. We're still struggling with that. We never have time as a 2.
You have time as a 2, but it's a different 2.
Yeah, I just hang out with Rupert loads. But having that sort of lack of time together actually leads us quite nicely onto question number 2. How did your relationship cope with the ups and downs of new parenting / a reflux baby? So just to touch on the reflux, again, it goes kind of back to my answer in question 1. I think I blamed a lot of stuff on, say, like silent reflux, because I was convinced that I needed a reason for Rupert's behaviour. But now that he just seems to have snapped out of all of it, a lot of the time, like, reflux stays with babies for much longer than it has done with Rupert. So I think
That was him.
So I think Rupert's main issue was just wind. He just wasn't getting the wind up properly. But in terms of like our relationship, yeah, it has been difficult.
We haven't had that much quality time together. We used to go on walks together.
Yeah.
But then with me in the business, I just can't. It's like, it's a one-man job, so we have to be really careful with our time. I'm sometimes editing in the evening whilst Megan goes on a walk, or cooking, I walk.
Yeah. Jamie hasn't had a day off since Rupert was born. Like, we, you know, as a family, will go and have a nice Sunday somewhere, or like Saturday at the weekends, but you're still home in the afternoon doing some kind of work, or like editing in the evenings and filming and things.
And sometimes if I'm filming in the daytime, then I'm working late into the evenings.
It has been really hard, and I think if we weren't such a tight unit and a team, like, it just takes teamwork. That's how we've done it, and we know it won't last forever. So we've definitely had like ups and downs, and it is hard not being able to just sort of sit on the sofa for 2 hours and watch a film, or go out for a meal or a drink.
We've got to get videos to you guys, which we obviously absolutely love, and we wouldn't change it, and that's why we do it. We do love making videos.
Another thing that I experienced early on, not as often now, but it still happens, is this thing called mum rage. It's like this feeling that just takes over your body, and all you want to do is just scream and shout and throw things. I mean, I'm not
but
like
also you can't, so you like almost got to suppress it, and it just builds up.
And Jamie often gets the brunt of all of that, and I just need to sort of shout at something. And so, bless him, he's not done anything wrong, but he does get a little bit of my mum rage.
I know she doesn't mean it, though I probably should help out a little bit more around the house.
just maybe you throw a load of washing in every now and again.
Exactly, yeah. I don't really think about that sort of stuff. The next question is, what's the best gift to get a new parent?
I think we've touched on this before, but the answer will always be food. Food. If you can get new parents a food hamper, even just cook meals at home and drop them off in a little tray that they can heat up in the oven. Desserts.
Homemade stuff that is just easy to shove in the oven. There will be obviously people who love cooking, and that's like their release, so obviously that might then not be worth getting them meals. But I think the majority of people, meals, just get them in the oven, make it so easy for them so they don't have to think about it.
Please don't waste your time buying clothes. New parents receive so many baby clothes, and believe us, the baby is in them for sometimes days, and sometimes they don't even wear them because you've just got so many clothes to get through.
Unless they're hand-me-downs and you're going to pass them on to someone else, that is amazing, but don't go out there and buy new clothing. Some things every now and again are nice gifts, but I would say they're going to get way too much.
Yeah, but if you want some advice on what to get toy-wise, then it's not really a toy. We received this from 2 of our friends who've got a little boy. It's like this sensory sheet. It's essentially like tinfoil. And Rupert just adores it. Like, he's mesmerised for honestly half an hour. He can just be so chilled playing with this tinfoil sheet. You can make dens,
you can do whatever, it makes a noise.
He loves it.
So simple.
Yeah, so cheap, and it's a brilliant toy. New parents will thank you for that one. Okay, next question is about weaning. How are we introducing Rupert to solids? We were supposed to start this week, but Rupert's had a little bit of a upset tummy.
He's quite a while.
Yeah, he's finding himself. He's just got the runs, poor baby. So we've delayed it, but we are going to be doing a combined approach of feeding him purees and letting him do baby-led weaning as well. So
baby-led weaning.
A bit of both. So we'll have dinner with him in the evening and maybe give him some pureed foods to taste, but we'll also put like a little plate of picky foods, soft
What we're
foods.
finding is whenever we have dinner, he's always like looking and he's like trying to pull the plate towards him. So he's definitely interested, and we've wanted to do it for a while, as Megan says. We've just delayed it a little bit and then hoping to put a load of different things in front of him and see what he wants to eat instead of like forcing him certain things.
Yes. I'll put a link to the book that I'm reading at the moment. Just give me 1 second, I'll just grab it so I get the name right. How to Wean Your Baby, Charlotte Sterling Reid. I'm basically following this. So yeah, that's what we're going to do for weaning. Next one.
What do you think Rupert will think about our YouTube channel when he's older?
Oh, he's going to be so embarrassed.
Well, I think from my side, my dad filmed everything in our childhood. He was always there with the camera, and it's so nice to look back at all those clips. And I guess for Rupert when he's older, I'm hoping he'll be able to look back and see all the fun we've had. It'll be nice to go and see what we did, and obviously not have to edit a video. He can just see it there.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice having the memories. He's probably going to be highly embarrassed watching videos of his dad dressed as Elsa. Or, I mean, what else have we done that's incredibly cringy? I mean, the wedding video was incredibly cringy. So yeah, he might be a little bit embarrassed, but hopefully he'll enjoy the memories.
I think we have a lot of fun with it, and actually when we go travelling and go places, it's amazing to try and make a video because it gets us out there and doing stuff. So I think actually it's going to be a positive thing for him. We will just have to work out what would be best of how much to show of him.
I think now that he's a baby, it's a little bit easier, but once he gets sort of chatting and he's toddler age or he goes to school, if we're still doing it, then he might want a bit more privacy, which is completely fair enough. But for now, we'll keep going, and I hope that he enjoys looking back at the videos.
I already enjoy looking back at some of the videos that we made. Even especially in lockdown, I forget that we did all those things. So it's nice for us to look back. Hopefully it'll be nice for him.
Also, I would love for Rupert to sort of get involved when he's old enough to understand, like, this is the on button, the camera. Like, during half-term holidays, I'd love to give him a project, like make a film on something. So whether it's like out and about in a forest,
documentaries.
a documentary, and just make it like educational and turn it into a game. And, you know, it's not just about vlogging, like talking to a camera, that he can actually go out there and film something and learn lots of things. So that's how I'd love to
teach people.
Yeah, I'd love to
through
sort
his
of
videos.
incorporate it that way in his life. So the next question is for me, and it's about breastfeeding. Am I still exclusively breastfeeding Rupert? He has one formula bottle before bed, which is like quite a big bottle, just to make sure that he's got a nice full tummy before bed.
And we can see how much he's had.
Yeah, but yes, I am. And I'm really enjoying it. Hated it for the first 2 months.
Yeah, it was a struggle, wasn't it?
It was a struggle, but ever since then it's been brilliant, and Rupert's still really enjoying it. He's really soothed by it. It's just working, and I will continue. I want to continue for as long as I possibly can, but I think when we introduce some food into his diet, my supply will naturally sort of drop off a bit because he won't need as much milk. But I'm just basically going to keep going for as long as I can. I mean, I'm not going to be breastfeeding him when he's going to school. I think maybe a year is like my cutoff.
I'm enjoying it. It means I don't have to do the midnight feeds.
I know.
We hear him wake up and I'm like, no, that's not my job.
But no, I am still feeding him.
The next one is, are there some things that you've done wrong as a parent?
So many.
Yes.
Where do we begin? I think at the start, winding was a big thing. You've got to try different things to like find good ways of burping your own child. It's not sort of one size fits all.
And also it changes. Like one thing that works one week might not work the next, and that's kind of frustrating. You think you've kind of found it, and then it doesn't work.
But I think I held him too much, close to me. I think I just sort of needed to pop him on my knee, upright, and just sort of rub his back a little bit more, and maybe I would have got up more wind.
It's hard to know because he might have changed over time, but yeah, he definitely prefers now a very calm pat, rub.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he gets it out. I also think I possibly overfed him a little bit. I listened to a lot of background noise. Like friends and family, they often mean well, but when they're crying all the time, they're just like, oh, well, have you fed him? Is he fed? I'm just like, yes, I have. Like he's literally just fed. And I sort of succumbed to the pressure of maybe feeding him again when he wasn't hungry. So he was getting a lot of that sort of fore milk, which is really sugary, and I had oversupply issues, which I'm going to do a breastfeeding video as part of one of my Wednesday uploads because I think there's so much to cover. I had oversupply, which is really difficult to manage, and when you've got a preterm baby who size-wise is smaller than average, and their mouths are teeny tiny, and they perhaps can't get a really good latch to begin with, he was just getting a lot of that sugary fore milk, which I think was contributing to the wind. I don't know any of this for sure. It's just sort of on reflection, looking back, what the problems could have been.
Everything we say isn't advice. It's just what we've gone through.
Yeah, but that was something I possibly did wrong. And one final thing that I wish we'd looked at earlier was the Little Ones app. I know a few of you actually suggested the app to us recently in an Instagram post. We did find the app a little while ago, but I wish we'd found it earlier. And it's all about sort of structuring their days in terms of feeding and sleep. And since we've been doing that and, getting Rupert into a proper routine, his sleep has improved massively. I kind of wish we'd started that from the very beginning, because even though you can't put a newborn baby into a really strict routine, they'll do whatever they want, it's great at just seeing sort of how often you maybe should be feeding them. They're just really good guidelines.
They're guidelines, and I think we were talking about it before, is that every baby's going to be slightly different,
Yeah.
but the main thing is trying to get some sort of structure when obviously they're old enough to just get into that routine of he now knows it's bedtime, this is going to be a nap time.
Yeah, and I think we did do that early on, but maybe not early enough.
Is there a baby accessory you couldn't live without? This is from someone who's on their first pregnancy and feeling a little overwhelmed.
Congratulations
Well
on your
done.
first pregnancy. It is
Congrats.
overwhelming. There's just so much stuff out there. The one thing we can't live without
And we learnt this last weekend when we went up to Norfolk.
and we forgot it. And yeah, it wasn't fun.
The Nanit Pro,
Oh,
the baby monitor that we have.
it's got to be the best baby monitor.
I think
out
it is
there.
quite expensive. We have to say we actually were sent this, but we don't know from who. It just turned up at our house.
It literally turned up on our doorstep. We have to this day, we have no idea.
We're still not too sure.
No. But anyway, it is wonderful. It's a night light. And it's not a really harsh night light. You can control the brightness. If you are feeding in the middle of the night, you don't have to put on like a side light or anything. You can just do it with that. It's white noise. There's like 4 different white noises.
Waves,
that you can
wind,
use.
water.
Again, you can control the
It's the same
sound. An amazing camera.
You can talk through as well, so we sometimes do it when if someone's going into Rupert's room and then whispers to the camera, I can then actually talk back through from my phone, which is really useful.
But it also gives you insights into their sleep. So the next day we have a full report on exactly when he slept, when he woke up, like when he stirred, when we went in to tend to him. It's brilliant.
And it gives you little time lapses of him rolling around and when we were there and like videos of us rubbing his back. It's really cool.
It's also got this thing where it monitors their breathing.
Yeah, it's got like I think a suit with a pattern on it so that the camera can then see them breathing and, you know, keep track of all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We don't actually use that, but you can.
But it does all of that and it's a camera like this size.
What's
So-
also quite great, I'll put some overlays, is that it's got a proper stand that goes above the crib and then it has like a travel stand, which is the one that we should bring to Norfolk, but
But we
I
forgot.
always forget.
Yeah.
That's my job. That's
That
the
is
tech.
definitely the one thing we couldn't live without. But again, in one of my Wednesday videos, I'm going to expand on that question.
And a few others.
Yeah, and do like a whole list of things that we definitely couldn't live without. But just to rattle through a few extras.
A few things that we think are really great. The baby born carrier,
Yeah.
the leopard print one, we really like that one.
Yeah, super easy to use. That was great. The e-pream. I mean,
Amazing.
you guys know about that, but that is genuinely just so good. Oh, it's just starting to rain.
I think it's hail.
And the other 2 really small things, they're so cheap and affordable. A bath thermometer, which I know a lot of people buy these days, but some people still maybe do
I
the
need
elbow
it. I'm
test.
terrible with. I get in a shower, it's too hot. I put my hand in something and it's too cold. So I'm really terrible with that. So I always want to use the thermometer. Megan's pretty good at knowing
Yeah,
the heat.
but
I'm not.
yeah, bath thermometer.
The last thing, nail file.
Oh, we found one on Amazon, put a
Electric.
link to it. It's so good. It doesn't hurt them. You don't need to worry about snipping the end of their finger.
Yeah, it's like a little mini sander, and it doesn't do anything to the skin. It just files the nails down. You probably would have seen from some of our vlogs that actually Rupert still scratched his face, but that's because we didn't use it that often. When we did, it is amazing and cheap. That might be a good gift to get someone.
Really good. So we've had a couple of questions around like what advice would we give to new parents or people who are about to become new parents. Talk to people who are going through exactly the same thing as you.
That massively helped us. We were very lucky that my best friend from university was going through it 2 months before,
Yeah.
4 months before. Every stage that we were going through, in the middle of the night, we'd be messaging them and they'd be able to tell us, it's normal,
Yeah.
you know, we went through the same thing.
So it'd be great if you could join an NCT course. The course itself, I would say some of it was useful, a lot of it wasn't.
I think for us, we obviously have helped Evelyn, Jackson a little bit, other family members, so we've learned stuff. For people who haven't a clue,
Don't know anything.
then it might be much more useful than we found, but yeah.
But what it does is it introduces you to a lovely group of people who are on the same journey that you are. So like I WhatsApp my NCT mums all the time, and if you're sort of on your own, you can resort to Google and you can sort of worry and panic. But if I just message one of my mum friends who also have like a 6-month-old, they could be like, oh yeah, so-and-so is doing exactly the same thing. And it's like, okay, so it's probably just another phase.
Yeah.
I feel so much better. So there's the Peanut app as well. That's really good. NCT courses, they're brilliant. Another thing I would say, if you're currently pregnant, it's so hard to not be like worried or maybe a little bit anxious, a bit stressed. It's, you know, you're about to go through like the biggest thing in your life. And I know, especially towards the beginning of my pregnancy, I was really stressed due to like external factors that were completely out of my control. And I actually read a report recently about the relationship between stressed pregnancies and colic in babies, and it just
very interesting.
Yeah. Oh wow, the rain's it's hail.
Hail.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully you can still hear us.
Yeah. Oh, what random weather. And it was fascinating. I'll try and find the link and put it below if I can find it, because to me it was like eye-opening. And so if you can do anything, whether it's meditation, yoga, regular exercise, to stay really calm during a pregnancy, I do think it will help, because I've got a lot of mum friends who are just so chilled and their babies are really chilled. And then I've got friends who are a little bit more highly strung. I probably fall into that category, and their babies are like absolutely wired.
Is that where Rupert gets it from?
Yeah, probably. So I don't know. Maybe there's no connection there, but
maybe it's a coincidence, but maybe it's not. So we've recently moved Rupert into his own bedroom, and we've got a question saying, how are you coping with him being in a separate room to us?
How are you coping?
Yeah.
It's no different to you,
Pretty
right?
good. Well, no, I get up a little bit more, probably once every 2 nights.
I was actually going to say, like, what it does is it drags Jamie into things a little bit more, because there's no hiding now.
No. We're also in the same room as well, as in we're in the same room, which is really nice, which is after 6 months of in and out of rooms.
Yeah, we waited 6 months. He transitioned really well, and the first few nights he was amazing. He slept pretty much all the way through till 6 a.m. with one small feed, and I was like, hallelujah, we've fixed everything. He's not been so good this week. We've had some early starts, like 4 or 5 o'clock. But yeah, it does rope in Jamie, because Rupert, he's big enough now to maybe only need one feed in the middle of the night, so any other time that he needs a resettle,
I go in.
You gotta get up now.
Rub his back for a while.
Yeah.
Which again, going back to the Nanit, we get some really good time lapses of me just going.
Yeah, but we've actually moved down a floor. We're normally on the top floor.
We're in the guest bedroom.
We've moved down a floor to be on the same level as Rupert, and our door's always open so we can like hear him, so it's much easier to just sort of go in and out.
But even with that, to begin with, when he started making a noise, we would go in quite quickly. And I think more recently, in the last couple of days, we've kind of been like, okay, let's just wait, let's see if he settles. And he has.
But he's old enough now.
At least that's what I'm saying when I'm tired and I don't want to get up.
Yeah.
Just let him be.
I'm less worried. He's capable of self-settling and sort of being on his own a little bit more to sort of fuss it out a bit. But yeah, it's going really well, thanks.
He's doing well.
And then final question that needs maybe a little bit more of an explanation, and then we've got just a few quick fire questions to finish off. So this is actually from my friend Holly. How blind did you go into sort of the birthing experience? What was the best book you read? I didn't feel like I went into it that blind. I felt like I actually did a lot of reading, tried to prepare for it as much as I could. The best book that I read was Siobhan Miller's Hypnobirthing book. But one thing I would say is, once you have read one book or you've done a course on hypnobirthing, you've done it all. So you don't need to do a course and read a million books. Just pick a book, because I think the biggest thing is that it taught me how to breathe. So I pretty much went through my whole labour without any pain relief until the last couple of hours. I think I got a little bit of help, didn't I?
But most of it was just, even
was all breathing.
The days before, when you're already starting to feel stuff.
Yeah.
I would say, for me, on the course, the whole thing is like breathing, staying calm. It's sometimes hard to actually like stay awake, because it's so relaxing, this online course. I could only do a chapter at a time. I needed a break. They're really good though.
But that's the one book that I would recommend. And I would highly recommend hypnobirthing to anyone. Again, I'll cover it in a Wednesday vlog. See, all these topics that I'm going to dive into. When
I heard hypnobirthing for the first time, I automatically thought hippie, like weird, and it's really not. It makes sense when you actually go through it. It's actually quite scientific. In fact, it's very scientific. Okay, shall we finish off with just a few quick fire questions? There's only maybe 3 or 4. Okay. Has it put you off having another? Right at the beginning, yes. Now, no. It does get better. No, it hasn't. Best and hardest thing about the past 6 months? Hardest thing, sleep deprivation and the first 8 weeks of breastfeeding. For me, I've already touched on it, but it was seeing Megan really struggle on the tough days. But my favourite bits... Yeah? His giggles.
First giggles, first smile.
giggles. And also there was just this one day where I was snuggling into his in here and he absolutely loved it. I think we might have it on camera.
Yeah, best bits for me, definitely the giggles. A random one, but when I wore him in the carrier and he was facing outwards for the first time, just seeing how much he took in, like outside, like the trees and the cars and the house,
So
and you
much
could just
going
see
on
so
for him,
much.
yeah.
He was just loving it. That was a fun moment as well.
Can we also just touch on the swimming lesson that he had yesterday?
He went underwater for the first time.
What?
Yeah.
I wasn't there, I missed it.
It was all like safe and very slow and controlled, but yeah, he went underwater and he loved it.
And you said he just came up?
He just came up a bit like, oh, okay.
A few other babies were screaming, but...
No, not screaming. Like, they cried a little bit, like
Crying.
whimpering, but not our Rupert.
Not our Rupert.
He was fine. What was the most memorable moment? Kind of like the previous question. I think giggles. That was before bath time. I was getting him all undressed, naked, and he just burst into giggles. Burst into laughter, and I was like, oh, that's amazing.
I think my most memorable, we can't actually mention yet. We
Not
will be
yet.
able to.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. It was so cute.
Exciting things to come. And a really fun question to finish on. When did you realise Rupert is really your baby and not borrowed?
It still hasn't hit me yet.
Still hasn't hit me. No. It's like someone has just given you the hardest job in the world and you don't get any days off. You can't quit. You just have to keep on doing it. Only now that he sort of looks at us and he's like, that's mum and dad. Like, you're my favourite people in the whole world, that it's starting to sink in
now
a little bit.
Now he interacts with us and you can like make him laugh just by smiling at him.
Yeah.
It's so much more rewarding. But yeah, it still feels like there's going to be an end to it. But actually this is our life forever.
Yeah.
He's in our lives forever.
Until he moves out at 18, which is happening, Rupert. If you're watching this
18.
in a few years to come, you're out. Anyway, on that note, that was fun.
Was, yeah. Thank you for all the questions. We did have lots and lots, and obviously we haven't answered all of them.
But
Next time,
tune
maybe.
into my Wednesday videos.
Yeah.
I probably won't get one up this Wednesday because it's only in a few days, but perhaps I will aim for the following week.
And maybe send some topics through on things you would like us to sort of touch on. They will be probably a little bit shorter, a bit snappier. Every now and again there might be like a top 5, top 10.
More like how-to videos,
Yeah.
top 10s, like really short, quick, snappy.
Because when we've touched on things in the vlogs, we've had really good comments and saying like it's really helpful, and obviously being open about our demographic. We've got a lot of women. I think it's 80%?
Yeah.
80% women watch this channel. I'm guessing because of the mum stuff, not because of me.
No, definitely not because of you.
But there are some guys out there, so let's get that guy ratio back up again. But yeah,
Actually,
and a lot of new parents, so that content I think would be very good.
Sorry, speaking of guy subscribers, we do have one subscriber, Robert Winterbottom.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
did ask, it wasn't on Instagram, he asked on YouTube what it was like having a preterm baby. So maybe I'll touch upon that in more detail.
I mean, we don't know any different.
I mean, we don't know any different, but it was tough because you just have to adjust everything. So very, very quickly, if you are using like any apps or sleep training guides, weaning, all of that, you have to adjust their age to the due date when they were supposed to arrive. So like Rupert is hitting lots of milestones for a 6-month-old baby, but there are quite a few things that he just hasn't hit yet. And
he's officially 5 months from his due date.
Exactly. He behaves very much like a 5-month-old.
Yeah, that'd be quite good touching on those things. And also things like, because he was early, we were in a high dependency ward, and just like that experience alone was quite bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure you've seen enough of us for now, so we'll wrap up and say goodbye.
I don't think we've got plans for next week. We should never make a plan though, and we don't always stick to it.
No, we're going to a baby show.
Oh yes.
Which would be really cool. That's in London, like one of these really big shows with loads of stands and cool brands and products and all that.
All the companies.
Yes, so we're going there.
Rupert's getting a passport soon.
By the time you're watching this, I will have been at Frozen last night.
Oh yeah, you lucky thing. Oh, which means I might try and film, it was last night, what will probably be an awful night.
I think we're going to go from
I'm a little bit nervous.
one to the other, sort of like, this is how my night's going at Frozen versus this is how my night's going looking after Rupert on my own. So yeah, we might do that.
He's been doing really well, but I have to say, and maybe I should do one of these Wednesday videos with you and talk about that, because as a father, sometimes it is quite tough when you want a little cuddle and he just wants mum. And as soon as he goes into Megan's arms, he's absolutely, dead silent, really calm. And it hurts a little bit.
Oh, it's only a phase.
I know it is, but it still is like, oh, he doesn't like his daddy.
You just don't have the milk.
I think I'm more fun as well. Not more fun for you, but as in I'm fun time compared to calm time.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially going to bed, getting him ready. I'm still trying to get him go. Yeah. Anyway, too much talking.
Well, he stayed asleep. That's a success.
It is.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed the video.
Thanks, everyone.
Let us know about the Wednesdays. Next Sunday we'll have something for you.
But until then,
like, subscribe.
Have a lovely week. Goodbye.
Sundays with the Colvins.
Love it. See ya.